There are many emerging areas of law. So the beauty of this 5-year legal course is that every point in time you have a chance to bounce back and test your skill level. Like any of you, when you grow as a legal professional, you like popularity. I also like popularity. I want my clients to call me up, if they are not able to take that last mile decision and take my views. I feel important, and that's the value we are bringing on the table. But law is mostly about your interpretations and your perspectives actually. You see, many politicians, if you check their background, they're lawyers. How are they lawyers? Because law, as a legal services professional, our forte and the value that we bring on the table is because of the different interpretations and perspectives we can give to our clients.
Welcome to all the viewers of the podcast. Today we have with ourselves Mr. Vivek Jha, who is a partner at Fox Mandal Delhi office. He brings over 17 years of invaluable experience in corporate law. His expertise covers a wide range of areas, including mergers and acquisition, private equity, joint ventures, venture capital, and regulatory compliances. Throughout his illustrious career, Vivek sir has demonstrated an exceptional ability to guide clients through the complexities of corporate transactions, both domestically and internationally. Vivek sir's work spans a diverse array of sectors from pharmaceuticals and fintechs to e-commerce and real estate, where he has been instrumental in shaping strategic investments and alliances. His extensive experience working with multinational corporations, sovereign wealth funds, private equity firms, and startups showcases his versatility and deep understanding of corporate law. Whether advising in high-stake cross-border transactions for assisting entrepreneurs in scaling their ventures, Vivek sir brings a level of insight and dedication that has earned him a reputation of trusted advisor. He is a graduate from National Law University, Jodhpur, with a BLLB degree. Vivek sir is also a member of Bar Council of Rajasthan. His commitment to his clients and his mastery of corporate legal frameworks have positioned him in a key figure personnel at Fox Mandal. Vivek sir's work is characterized by a focus on meticulous dealing structures, negotiations, and transactions execution, providing comprehensive legal support from start to finish. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you so much.
So to start with, I would just like to ask how the journey from being a law student to becoming a partner at such a prestigious firm has been.
You see, legal course is a very different course. It is very different from any other profession, like profession of, let's say, like MBA, medical profession, or maybe engineering profession. Legal, like we have a 5-year law course. You see, the duration of law course itself is a long duration. Now what happens when you're doing a 5-year integrated law course, as you are doing, as I have done in my time, is that you get ample chances to evolve over a period of time. So you see, in your first year, when you do law of torts and you touch down to the basics of the law, you see, you may not like, for example, law of torts, but in the second year you do law of contracts. You may like law of contracts. Maybe in second year you do not like law of contracts. In the third year you will like constitutional law. Maybe you don't like constitutional law. You will do WTO studies. You will do banking and finance studies. You will do securities law. You will do other corporate laws and whatnot. There are many emerging areas of law. So the beauty of this 5-year legal course is that every point in time you have a chance to bounce back and test your skill level and test your interest level. So maybe, at the end of second year, for example, even I thought I am more interested in constitutional law because I used to like constitutional law a lot. But in my third year, I did corporate law. I liked corporate law more. So I was like, okay, this is the field I should, deep dive into, and this is something which will also help me in future from employment perspective also. Because for a law student, keeping in mind that employment perspective is also very important, because ultimately all of you and all of us wanted to get placed in good organizations so that we get good exposure and rise early in the career, work with good people, and every good thing should come to you because you are working hard. So you see, when I speak about my journey from a law student to where I am today, there have been many challenges, and challenges have helped me to grow. Because you see, as I said, legal profession is a different profession. It is a profession, it is not a job. So many of us think like other profession, that if legal profession is 9 to 5 job, then I can tell you majority of us are disappointed, because this is not a job, this is a profession. This is like any other business. So just think about any other person who is doing other business other than legal services. What happens in a business? You always have to respond to your customer's need, right? Customer needs are not time bound needs. That's how business grows. You see, all businessmen are working 24 into 7 and 365, because they are catering to their customers' need. Same is the case with legal professional. Your clients need you, and that is why they want you to be there when they need you. And and it cannot be curtailed in a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6 scenario. They may need you 11:30 in the night. There is something, they want comfort, they trust you, and they will call you. Can you help me with this? Can you look into this? Even if there are many instances where our clients had more expertise than us and knew something is correct to them, right? Still they wanted our viewpoint. Because you see, the way we create, as a law students and as legal profession, our whole idea is to create value on the table. And as long as we are creating value on the table, we are respected, we are important. So we are doing way more than 9 to 5 job. It is at time 24 into 7, 16 hours a day, 15 hours a day, 14 hours a day. But actually we enjoy doing that, because that also showcases that we are important. Only important people are busy in this world. Non-important people are not busy. So, so journey has been, I have over the period of time, especially in last 5 or 6 years, when I was new into legal profession, for example, I also had this perspective, I was also some point in time finding difficult in law firms, working day and night, night out, you see, burning midnight oil for several days. I also had a feeling like, why not move on? Why not work in a scenario where I have definitive timelines? But I tell you, the beauty is when you deep dive into your work and when your clients appreciate you, you want to be important 24/7 into 365. And that's the that's the shift in mental perspective. I have personally worked on me over a period of time. I have shifted my mental perspective to saying myself, reaffirming to myself again and again, that people are reaching out to me showcases my importance to them, and I'm happy to be reached out. Actually, yeah, I like any other lawyer, like any of you, when you grow as a legal professional, you like popularity. I also like popularity. I want my clients to call me up, if they are not able to take that last mile decision and take my views. I feel important, and that's the value we are bringing on the table. So that's the journey. So I've worked on shifting my mental perspective totally, and not thinking as, in terms ki mere paas I have got some work, I have to deliver that work. I have shifted my mental perspective to affirming to myself that work is my work, and I am creating value in the work. So I am not a nut and bolt in the entire system. I am substantial part of the system, and that's why my client is paying me. Otherwise, why would they get me on the table or pay me at all?
Surely, sir, that was insightful. And on the same line, I wanted to ask, as I have searched on you, I can see that you work in various segments of corporate law, from FDI to e-commerce to that data privacy to pharmaceuticals. These segments are, to be honest, very specialized. So how do you find a balance in it, and how do you keep up with such extensive knowledge, and as rules and regulations keep on changing, how do you keep up with that?
So you see, this is another perspective of being part of a legal profession, is that you can carry your learning on one project to another project. So for example, I give you as a law student, earlier we had Indian Penal Code 1860, I know that well, more than the latest penal code which are there. So we had this section 299 and 300. And there is a thin line of difference between section 299 and 300. You see, culpable homicide amounting to murder and murder. Any law student or any legal professional who can understand the exact difference between 299 and 300, when 299 can be invoked and when 300 can be invoked, he will also carry that learning into other areas of law. Because law is not about knowledge. Law, in fact, law is about knowledge, but law is mostly about your interpretations and your perspectives. Actually, you see, many politicians, if you check their background, they're lawyers. How are they lawyers? Because law, as a legal services professional, our forte and the value that we bring on the table is because of the different interpretations and perspectives we can give to our clients actually. So I am a corporate lawyer. I work on many corporate transactions. Where in corporate transaction, I can tell you 60 to 70% is commerce, 30 to 40% is law. But our clients are seeking our confirmation and our guidance also on the commercial aspects. They are asking us, okay, can you tell me what is the market practice? How are the other players in the industry are actually doing this? Do you see, is there any commercial concern in this? The commercial people are actually asking us. Why they are asking us? Because they know these people have been working into different industries. They have dealt with different set of players in the industry, different stakeholders. They may give us some insights and some inputs that we do not know. They may know, and they will know how to actually apply it. So for example, I have also worked a lot in the non-banking financial services sector, which is a highly regulated sector by Reserve Bank of India. And things at times in NBFC sector can get complicated actually. You see, now if you carry your learning of how to interpret regulatory laws and regulatory structure, etc., deal with the regulator, if you know that how to deal with RBI, you can definitely use that knowledge to deal with Securities and Exchange Board of India, because it is also another regulator. But you have some sense of knowledge previously dealing with a different kind of a regulator or different industry. You can carry on that learning into a different set of a project, or a different set of a stream if you want to. And that is where this composite learning is helpful. So like if you go into medical profession, somebody is a physician and somebody is a surgeon. If you look that in the legal terms, you cannot divide legal profession like that. You cannot say that somebody is only drafting the documents and somebody is only arguing before the court, or somebody is only doing arbitration and sitting on the table, nothing. You have to do everything of it. You have to know everything, right? And that's the best part of legal profession, is that it's a composite learning profession, and you can carry your learning from one project to another project, in fact different set of projects actually. So, and that's the USP, and that's what the client want to see you. So client, for example, you have dealt with very you have worked in sectors which are highly regulated sectors, for example, okay, and something comes up from the regulator tomorrow and something is vague, because initially what circulars or what mandates and instructions regulators at times gave, or law, as we know, laws are also vague and are not in black and white. But your past knowledge of dealing in those subjects which will actually help you. So in knowledge in the pharma sector will also help you while navigating regulatory structure in any other sector also, maybe e-commerce sector also. You will know this is how the market is shaping up, this is what stakeholders are doing, this is what is the benefit to the stakeholder, what is the perspective of this regulatory notification. Regulatory notification doesn't want to bar a commercial practice, it wants to regulate a commercial practice. So once you have all these perspectives in your mind, you are better positioned to take a judgment or take a call on something which is new actually.
Definitely, sir. As it said that law is non-exhaustive, there's always something new to learn. Moving forward, sir, since you have entered the field, a lot has changed in terms of technology, specifically the use of AI. The times we were in 10 years back has changed a lot. So what do you think about the use of such technologies, and how law you think has coped up with it over the time?
Look, as we discussed in the panel also yesterday, technology is here. We cannot stop technology to grow, because technology is useful. It is useful not only for lawyers, for other professions also. Now, as far as legal profession is concerned, it is up to us how do we use the technology. So you see, as we also discussed, like in legal profession, one of the beautiful thing is that more you work on your basics, more and more, you will become better in doing complicated work. It is inversely proportional in some sense actually. So if you're good at legal research, right, if you're good at legal research, searching case laws, you are in that momentum, you want to find a case law which suits your client's need, which helps you to defend your client, you see, you are in that momentum. You get a lot more learning, because in that process you read, let's say, 100 judgments. Okay, you have read 100 judgments. Now it's not only about reading 100 judgment and finding 101st case for your client. That reading that 100 judgment also gives you knowledge of what different interpretation different lawyers have taken. So suppose per judgment has 2 to 4 lawyers and you have read 100 judgments. You have read the minds of 400 lawyers actually. It will help you to acquire perspective. It will help you, aid you in your interpretation while you are defending your client or doing anything, any assignment, etc. It will also give you that cutting edge perspective. It will also help you in your drafting. You will also get to know how people actually draft good arguments. You see, so benefits are multiple. So now it is up to us. So what happens now, initially when the technology will come at the base level, like many law firms also, foreign law firms also are using AI technology. They are using AI technology at initial stage. Basically what worked an A0 associate or A1 associate will do, like proofreading, etc., doing cross-referencing, looking at formatting, numbering issues, etc., or doing some part of due diligences, etc. But my suggestion and my viewpoint on this is very clear, that legal profession is a different profession. AI and technology will not take away the value add an individual lawyer brings on the table. Because remember, this is a people-centric profession. This is not a technology-centric profession. Now, you see, if I as a lawyer have worked with my client over a period of time, come what may, maybe 1,000 technologies have come, he will still rely on my word. You see, while the technology has come, another aspect is, it is important for someone like who is in the 5th year, someone like who has recently joined legal profession or 1 year into the system, is to not overly rely on these systems. Because you see, all these technologies, etc., will work on the commands that you give them, right? Because they are artificial intelligence at the end of the day. Yeah, they are not god made intelligence like humans, right? True. So you need to give them instructions, right? You need to give them correct prompts. How do you give them correct prompts? You have to know, right? You have to be more learned than the systems, right? Then only systems will get evolved. So it cannot be a case that system is ahead of you and you are behind the system. If the system is ahead of you, you are behind the system. The instructions and the prompts you are giving to the system, there is a lag, and you will not get the results. So we have to be ahead of the systems. So while we give prompts and utilize all artificial intelligence platform, etc., we have to be better than them somewhere, somehow, so that actually we use them. Otherwise, what will happen if we are entirely using an artificial intelligence platform for research, etc., we are not doing it by ourselves, we are not developing actually. We are not reading the perspectives of 400 lawyers that we could have read in those 100 judgments. AI is doing that, right? We are not doing that, so we are missing out on that, right? So as I said yesterday also, we are moving from $3 trillion economy to a $10 trillion economy. There will be a lot more work, and lot more complicated work. Things will not get easy. There will be complications, etc. So humans are best placed to deal with complication as opposed to the machine. So yes, technology is there. It will impact legal profession like any other profession at the initial stage, at the A0 or A1 stage, first 2 year level stage. But my suggestion and my advice is that we should take help and take aid of that technology. But let not technology substitute us actually in a way. Because our profession is a very different profession. Our profession is not like customer cookie profession, where in every hit there is a AI machine which it tracks your IP addresses and builds up the database. We cannot do that. We are lawyers, because every set of facts is different. Every time the judge is different. Every time a lawyer is different. Every time the city is different, right? All these things come into play when you deal in legal profession. So it is here to stay, but it is up to us how do we use it. We have to we should stay ahead of that technology actually.
Sure, sir. I could not help but agree with you right now, because technology is here to stay, as you said, and we just need to work upon it. So, as you talked about economies, I just wanted to ask one more question. As our financial markets expand and different economies integrate, we are able to witness rising trends of cross-border transactions. So, can you throw some light on how this has affected our legal field, and what do you expect our legal field to do in future?
Very relevant question. So we just need to go back a bit into history. Now I tell you, prior to liberalization, when Indian economy was a closed economy, there was not much FDI. In fact, there was no FDI as such, other than few cases we can count on our fingers. In 1991, when we liberalized our economy, And after certain number of years, from 2000 onwards, there has been a lot of influx of foreign direct investments into India. And I think India is the largest destination of inward, in investments in the world. I think just after China,
Yeah.
definitely in top three, it is there. Now, as far as legal profession is concerned, there have been a lot of changes with these FDI, and especially with the integration of economies. So earlier in 1990s, corporate law practice in India was typically a stamp duty practice. That was the meaning, meaning, or nature of work that was discussed between the stakeholders as far as corporate lawyers were concerned. This term was non-existent. India had project finance lawyers that point in time who worked on different projects, but there was no M&A lawyer, there was no private, forget about private equity lawyer, there was no venture capital lawyer at that point in time. Now what happened when these economies started integrating? Basically there was a lot of foreign direct investments into India. Our firms, all the firms and all the relevant stakeholders at that point in time started interacting with their counterparts in the foreign law firm more. Now, when you are interacting with your counterparts in the foreign law firm, or if you are representing a foreign law firm, you also acquire their thought process, because there has to be an alignment. So if a foreign law firm has hired you as their Indian counsel for a particular deal, you are working with that foreign law firm, the top law firm. You have to be aligned in thought processes, in systems, and everything. So this is how, with the integration of economies, a lot of FDI coming into Indian systems, Indian legal profession has advanced actually. You see, earlier, if you see old lawyers' chambers, old corporate law firms, whatever 4-5 names that were there, see their offices that point in time and see their offices today. Now, many of our offices of Indian law firms are as good as offices of a foreign law firms. Right, that was not the case earlier. Earlier, Indian law firms were typically structured as a chamber practice, wherein the senior was there, 4-5 juniors were there, and that's how the office structure was also there. They were fixated desktop, etc., and not updated desktop, etc. Now you go to any good law firm, which is having maybe more than five lawyers also, as all lawyers are working on the latest systems, latest laptops, etc. They are using all latest software, etc. Right. So with the integration of economy, the best practices have also come into India, and our stakeholders have also imbibed those best practices, because they know if they are dealing with offshore clients, right, those offshore clients have already been dealing with their local foreign lawyers that in that jurisdiction. So our stakeholders also know that we need to integrate our system, align our system, so that there is a comfort factor we can give to our ultimate client, you see. So the best, with the integration, the best practices have come into Indian system, and that is something which has been helping Indian law firms a lot.
Truly, sir, thank you for having insight on this. Just as we move to our last end, I would just like to ask, as we are freshers, as I know that my viewers would be mostly freshers moving out from college, what do you as a partner at a law firm or someone generally in the legal field expect from new upcoming freshers and those who are entering the field?
So I tell you, look, when you are entering the field, there is no expectation as such. I mean, I don't want to touch the basic points like, you should know proofreading, you should be aware, you should be good in taking notes, etc., etc. Those are very basic. What is important is, as a fresher or maybe as a fifth year law student also, that you should try to invest time in knowing what you are doing. That is important, because what happens when you start in a legal fraternity, a junior system, most of the time what you are doing is imbibing others' views, because that is the pattern that has been followed in the law firm, right? But we do not get much time to see exactly what we are doing, you see. That is again more a play of a mental perspective than a physical preparation actually. You see, what you have to do and develop over a period of time is ownership of work. You see, ownership of work is basically that mental perspective which signifies that if you are doing on some work, you say to yourself, or you have the ability at your level, not at the level of partner, at your level, that if I have done this work, this is the best work. So if you're proofreading a document, for example, proofreading is a very, very important art. It's it's run of the mill work for many, but I tell you, it is very important art actually. So if you're proofreading a document, for example, then it should be like there are no mistakes, there are no errors in comma, there are no errors in full stops, and there are no formatting errors. It should be like this. So if you're doing small tasks, low hanging fruits with the sense of purpose and ownership of work, it actually helps you to graduate into complicated transaction and complicated work. So what happens most of the time, many lawyers also, and definitely newcomers also, they are working without sense of ownership of the work, right? Basically passing of the work. And many senior lawyers also do that, passing on the work from one table to another table. It does not help, because we are as good as our ecosystem, right? So what happens if a junior works with sense of ownership, sense of purpose, it is visible to the senior also. So if you for example, very simple thing, proofread a document and there are not much mistakes and you have done a good job, then the senior also understand that this guy is doing a good job. You will get better work next time. You will get more work next time. More work means, you have to, again, I am telling you, you have to shift your mental perspective. More work does not mean that you will get tired. More work means you are getting more opportunity to bring value on the table. You are getting more time. You are getting more deal time. You have to reorient yourself with that and say, I am getting more work. I am more important. That's why I'm getting more work. I have more opportunity to impress my client, right? I have more opportunity to impress my seniors, etc. So work on shifting your mental perspective and instill, right from, you see, at least from end of third year into fourth and fifth year, that ownership of work actually. Use that in your moot court arguments. Use that in your projects that you make. Use that in the articles that you write. For example, you may be writing an article on a particular topic. Just reaffirm to yourself, ensure that article is the best article in this country. Work with that perspective, because when you work with that mental perspective and you have given an instruction to your brain that this will be the best, then the brain, your brain and your entire ecosystem works accordingly. As opposed to when you work on an assignment or whatever with a fear that, okay, this may go wrong or that may go wrong, chances of you going wrong is more. Because this is how your mind and your ecosystem works. It's a law of attraction actually. So my advice to all freshers, or maybe at the mid level, etc., maybe at the fourth and fifth year level, is to work with sense of ownership. Make this a habit. Whatever you do a small task, you do a big task, you do a moot court argument, you are arguing in your class, for example, giving a point of view, but do it with sense of ownership. That will help you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure hosting you on this podcast today. I hope our viewers got a good insight on what is to be done and how the general corporate world works over here. It was my pleasure, sir. Hope to see you soon and stay connected.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.